True Crime Society podcast contains adult themes and violence and is not intended for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. And if you'd like to skip the intro or move to any specific part of the podcast, please refer to the timestamps listed in the episode description. Thank you. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of True Crime Society podcast with Stephanie and Olivia. It is November 2nd, and we just recorded 2025. We just recorded the Patreon episode, and I said, I can't believe it's November, but I really can't believe it's November already.
I know, it's crazy. Time's flying by.
Everyone's got to do their Christmas shopping. It's time. Yeah. When this comes out, it's going to be even further into November.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. And it's just such a busy time of year here because it's the end of the school year and all that. So, yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah, so we just had daylight savings here, so that messes up us recording. And now it is 5:30 and it is pitch black out. So love that. Just
You're
feeling
right
great
as now.
Yeah, just, as if life isn't tough enough with the political climate, having a fresh newborn baby. Now it also gets dark at 5 o'clock. So
at least you were saying, because I was saying to you yesterday, I used to hate the time changes when my kids are little because it would throw off their whole routine. Yeah. But at least he's not quite on like a timed routine as such yet, like, 6 p.m. and all that stuff. So
yeah, so silver lining is that he's still like too little to have like a proper bedtime, wake up time and all that. He's still on like a just constant 3 to 4 hour schedule, always rotating. So it doesn't really affect him much. Maybe it'll affect like when he kind of goes to sleep a little bit, but it doesn't really affect him that much. I'm probably for the next one, it'll be more annoying. Yeah. If anything, my cats are more fucking annoying because they're like, ooh, it's time to eat, right? Yeah. And it's like, no, girl, you've got another hour.
Yeah, exactly.
So Halloween came and went. Jack was a cow for anyone who follows me on Instagram. You probably saw that. Cute. You might hear him crying right now. I'm sure my husband is trying to burp him, which he hates being burped, but he needs to be burped because he is a gassy little guy. But yes, he was a cute little cow. Me and Mike were farmers. And Freshbutt gets upset when Jack is crying. So you might hear Freshbutt meowing too. It's like a big chaotic event here.
Everyone's going. It's like the nighttime symphony with especially the sounds.
Yeah, it is. With the time change, everyone's just confused. But anyway, so Halloween, as if I wasn't stressed enough because I don't really bring Jack out that much yet because he's only like 2.5 months old and he's a little disgruntled most of the day. So like, we're just staying at home. I'm not trying to cart a little baby all over town, but we're like going to Mike's parents' house.
Yeah.
No. And I'm not enjoying it. But we were going to go to Mike's parents' house to do like a little fake trick or treat quick just so they could see him in his costume. And my parents are up and my aunt lives in like a big development that like is big for trick or treating. So then we were going to stop there quickly just to do like a little fake trick or treat, see everyone, say hi, take some pics, whatever, which is like a big outing for me as someone who has not really taken him out much yet. So of course I'm like stressed out all day. As I said, I'm like, I need to get ready like 4 hours in advance. I have to get ready before he even wakes up because otherwise I'm not even going to get a chance. Got to get everything together. You know what happens? Literally I wake up for a very short amount of time and our fucking power goes out because it was so windy on Halloween and the power stayed out. I needed to shower so bad. I hadn't showered for like a week because having a baby and decided to just get ready. I washed my hair in like the sink with the little bit of water that we had left. Got ready in the dark. Well, not in the dark. Like obviously it was cloudy, so it was a little dark. Very stressed out, trying to get everything together. Literally, as soon as we're walking out the door at like 1 p.m., the power comes back on. I was like, are you fucking kidding me as we're leaving?
Always the way.
I know. I was like, why am I being punished? But it was a fine day overall. He cried a bit, as you could see from the photos that I posted. But overall, we got it done. Did the thing. Happy Halloween. Didn't get enough candy. I wish that I dragged him around a bit so I could at least get some more candies, but whatever.
It's probably just easier to go to the store and buy a few rather than dragging him around at this stage.
Yeah, I know. I was going to do my Walmart grocery delivery because as we know, I hate going to the store. And I was like, maybe I'll see what Halloween candy is on sale. But what's going on with you?
Not much here. We had Halloween here too. Only my youngest daughter did it this year because my oldest daughter was working. But yeah, so we dropped her off on this, like there's this one street here that really participates because a lot of places don't generally do it. But there's one street here and it's a really long street. So a lot of houses participate. But like I got a photo from there and I'm like, oh my goodness, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people because everyone goes there. They need to, next year they need to shut the street or something because cars can still drive down. It's way too dangerous for all these little kids. But yeah, she had a good time. They didn't get a huge amount of candy, which I'm not surprised because so many kids go to this one place. It would cost the people a fortune. They did have a thing this year where people could actually donate bags of candy. We call them lollies, but lollies to their houses before, which I think is a great idea because it shouldn't be up to them to supply it for all these hundreds and hundreds of children. So,
well, that's like my aunt lives in like a big development like that, and they actually close it off and they give the people who live there like passes that they can like give to friends to come. So like not just everyone could show up because that's what would happen there too. Like they would just like everyone would go there and it'd be too chaotic.
I was talking about it with some friends. And I'm like, maybe what they should do is before Halloween, you have to drop off X amount of bags of candy. If your kid wants to participate and your kid gets a wristband, it can come back on Halloween and do a little bit of trick-or-treating.
That's
but
then
I'm like, they're like, that's a great idea. Are you going to organize it? I said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Someone else, that could be someone else's job. I just thought it was a good idea. But yeah. Yeah, so it was good. But then we had a massive, I was just saying in Patreon, we had a massive storm that night, like thunder, lightning. So I'm glad that she got it in while it was not like that. But yeah, back to business here. We had someone ask on Patreon too, like, is Halloween a big thing here? It's generally not. And they said, oh, I've seen bluey Halloween decorations. And I'm like, I've never seen them. And then the day after Halloween, I went to the store and what do I see? But bluey Halloween decorations on like clearance because obviously it was over now. So yeah. I think it is every year it is getting bigger and bigger. I had someone else message Instagram and say they agree here it's getting bigger and bigger and they sent photos of their Halloween. Yeah, I just feel like some people are like, it's not an Australian thing. We don't need to do it, which I get. But you know what?
People just hate America. So they're like,
fuck that. But it's not even an American holiday. It's like a Celtic holiday. I was reading about it. It has origins somewhere else. So I know Americans do celebrate it in a very big way. So maybe that's why people think it is. But I'm like, you know what? A bit of fun. The kids all love it. Everyone dresses up. And even like when I was dropping her off there, I saw this dad and this son walking and the dad had gone all out. He was like dressed as a skeleton. He had this most amazing makeup and the kid was dressed as a dinosaur. I'm like, oh my God, that is so cute. So just a bit of fun, harmless fun.
It is. I have so many fun memories from Halloween as a kid. So it's like a great holiday for kids. So I don't think there should be any haters because looking back on it, like it's one of the most nostalgic, happy times as a kid. I just remember like all the different Halloween commercials on TV, the Halloween specials of like all your favorite cartoons and like meeting up with your friends and using pillowcases to get like so much candy. I do think back when I was a kid, like way more people trick-or-treated and it was like a much bigger thing than it is now. But it's just such a fun time as a kid.
Yeah, and it was never a thing when I was growing up, so I never got to do it. But yeah, I think why not? Let them have a bit of fun, bit of harmless fun. You know, and even like my daughter met up with all her little friends on the street and they went around together. So I just think it was really nice little, nice time.
Yeah. I think why it's not as big of a thing here, not to say like it's dying down, because then people started doing more like trunk or treat type things. So it's like safer for kids.
Like where is that just where they go to one location? Because I've seen a lot of people talk about that. Yeah. Like, what actually is it?
I've never been to one since like I didn't have children, but it's basically like some place will host like a trunk or treat, like a school or church, something, and everyone goes with their cars and they park the cars in the parking lot. And some people decorate like their trunks as like a big display. Like some people do Jurassic Park and like have dinosaurs and like decorate things like that. And then the kids, instead of going to houses, they like go to each like little car instead. Right. So it's more like contained and safer for like the little kids, like earlier in the day. That's what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but I feel like it's killing like real trick-or-treating.
But yeah, I was just saying the other exciting thing, which I guess because by the time this comes out, we will just about be going. We're going to see Oasis this Friday night in Sydney. So that's been a big, long wait. I think we bought the tickets like about a year ago. They're doing this massive world tour. Someone let off a flare. I don't know if it made the news there, but in the Melbourne concert on the weekend, someone let off a flare in the crowd. And like obviously flares go up and then they come down. So there's like 80,000 people in the crowd and this flare and Oasis went off their brains. Like one of them wrote a tweet and was like, I won't repeat the language, but basically you're an effing idiot. And
oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. But imagine like
what's wrong with people?
How did anyone even get a flare in there? Like things like that. They like we don't really have I don't want to say we don't have metal detectors. We do, but it's not as big of a thing. But they always check your bags. I guess you could put it in your pocket or something maybe, and they might not check that.
Maybe someone just doesn't know what I wouldn't really know what a flare looks like.
And you could probably shove it down your pants or something. But then who would ever think
that's true?
Who would ever think that's a good idea to do that? Like, yeah, that's smart.
People are stupid.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into some updates. We've got 3 updates to talk about. Lots of not little updates from like cases that we all probably kind of forgot about because I know we did. So
yeah, and it's just ones that were unexpected. Like, even when we did the Ellen Greenberg update the other week, we kind of knew that would probably happen because we knew there was things in the pipeline. Whereas I feel like a lot of these have been out of the blue. Yeah, just kind of very sudden updates.
Yeah, I would see the name and I'd have to Google it and be like, wait, which case was this again? And then I'd be like, oh shit.
I guess now because we've got so many episodes, we've got, I don't even know, 100 over, even over 200 maybe, I don't know. But anyway, a lot of episodes. So yeah, a lot of crimes to remember.
Yeah. Okay, so the first one we have is Caitlin Tracey. So if you don't remember which case that is, we first covered it in May 2025. In October 2024, Caitlin was found dead in the stairwell of her estranged husband's apartment complex. Her foot had been severed from her body and she suffered severe trauma, and it seemed like she had fallen down fallen 20 flights of stairs, but not down the stairs, maybe through the gap. It was weird, but everyone was immediately suspicious of her ex because he seemed like a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because on Monday, October 27, 2025, which is 1 year to the day since she died, an arrest warrant was issued for Adam, who's the ex, and he was charged with 1 count of first-degree murder. So according to the criminal complaint, Adam killed Caitlin by throwing her over the railing of the 24th floor of the east stairwell of their apartment building. Earlier in October, Adam pleaded no contest to domestic violence charges in connection to 2 incidents relating to Caitlin, as well as 1 count of contempt for violating his bond, and he was sentenced to 93 days in jail. So he's currently being held at the Berrien County Jail in Michigan. And at his sentencing for the domestic violence charges, Adam wore his wedding ring and spoke about Caitlin. He said, "I did lose my wife, and I've been unable to grieve for her. I miss my wife every day. I love her more than anything." Just shut up. He was even before this, just hearing the stories of what he put her through, he was a real abusive piece of shit. So we learned about an incident involving Adam at an urgent care clinic also. He received a charge of contempt of court because of the incident. It says that he consumed alcohol and appeared to be intoxicated and showed intimidating and threatening behavior towards the employees of the urgent care, where he gone for the court-ordered drug testing. Officers were called to the clinic to see what was going on, and apparently Adam also, without permission, touched the hand of a worker and asked her on a date. A short time later, he went into the bathroom, pulled down his pants, and exposed himself to the entire staff, then defecated all over the floor and himself before returning to his car. So, very chaotic.
Yeah.
He's obviously not right in the head.
No, and I do wonder if he was kind of playing this up, maybe they're going to go for some type of mental health defense or something. Obviously, he was there for drug and alcohol testing. It seems like he was intoxicated, so who knows?
And he showed up drunk.
I did wonder if this was all going to be part of "look at me, I'm crazy," the defense. Maybe.
So Judge Bruce said that it's in violation of those conditions of no assaultive, abusive, intimidating, threatening, violent, aggressive, stalking behavior, no consumption or possession of alcohol. So after the murder charges were announced, Caitlin's parents released a statement expressing gratitude to the Chicago police and Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke, calling the charge another big step in the path to obtain justice for Caitlin. They said, "We dearly miss Caitlin as we were friends. Our family hopes that during the murder case against Adam Beckerink, that the truth about the last months of Caitlin's life and the events leading to her tragic death are revealed, so our wonderful daughter can finally be laid to rest."
Yeah, so I didn't know if anything would come of that case. Obviously, maybe it took them a year to prove it. I do suspect they probably laid the charges on the date because it was exactly 1 year to the date. That was kind of symbolic for them that I feel that they picked that date to lay the charges. I'm glad because he does seem like a garbage human being. He has a history of violence towards women. Yeah, I wonder if we'll learn more. Obviously, it's only been in the last few days that this has happened, so we will learn more about how they were able to lay the charges and what other evidence they have.
Mm-hmm.
So the second update we have is one that we covered back in 2022. It's about Christy Giles and Hilda Cabrales Arzola. So these were two women who died from overdoses after they were dumped at hospitals in Los Angeles. So we went through this. Basically, they'd gone to a party. They met up with this complete jerk of a guy named David Brian Pierce, and he essentially gave them drugs, caused them to overdose, and then dumped them at two separate hospitals where they both ended up passing away. On October 29, 2025, David Brian Pierce was sentenced to 146 years in prison after he was convicted of first-degree murder in the case. He was also found guilty of crimes against a series of women between 2007 and 2021, including sodomy and rape of an unconscious or a sleeping victim. So this is the kind of guy this jerk is, taking advantage of women who are literally unconscious, and I'm so glad that he got that sentence.
Yeah, with Christy and Hilda, essentially, it was like, from what I remember, he basically took so long kind of trying to hide the overdose and like not have it track back to him that basically that was why he died. And if he called to get them help right away, they potentially could have been saved. Yeah. But he was a guy who basically drugged women to rape them, it seems.
Yeah, like lured them and groomed them and got them into these scenarios where they essentially were vulnerable and couldn't get out of. So a complete rubbish human being. The LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman said this sentence delivers long-awaited justice for Hilda and Christy and the courageous sexual assault victims who came forward and testified. So just as a kind of an interesting side note to this, after this was all finalized and he got this sentence, which I think is a great sentence, it came out that there was an LA police officer named Lauren Craven, and she was one of his victims. She was attacked in 2020 while she was a university student, but right around the time that he was sentenced, she was actually struck by a car and killed. So she didn't get to see justice.
Wow.
For that case. So just that was a sad side note. But so many comments from people, that is an amazing sentence, 146 years. Why don't other people get that long? I agree. But I feel like he rightfully deserved that sentence.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad it was like a big sentence.
So the last update we have today is about another case that we covered in 2022, and that's about the disappearance of Idaho boy Michael Monkey Vaughn. He disappeared from his home in Fruitland, Idaho in July 2021. So we did an episode on him, and basically a lot of people suspected it was the parents, that, the dad had said he'd gone to change the diaper of a younger child and Michael had just somehow managed to vanish. So a lot of people were casting, I guess, side eyes at the parents. But it turns out that a man named Stacey Wondra, who's now 33, has been charged with first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. Stacey and his then wife, Sarah Wondra, lived less than half a mile away from Michael's home. So that's really the only connection that we know between them, is that they lived close to where Michael lived. There was no real other known connection, like they weren't essentially really good friends of the family or anything like that. Like, I wonder if Michael got out of the house and Stacey just kind of jumped on the opportunity, which is what it seems like to me. The prosecutor, Michael Duke, announced that his office was moving forward with charges against the individuals involved in Michael's disappearance and killing. They said, after a robust investigation by the Fruitland Police Department and countless assisting agencies, we have unfortunately been unable to locate Michael to recover his remains. Our foremost hope has always been to recover Michael, but delays now risk further harm to his loved ones. So they haven't really released any other information. The Wondras were already incarcerated at the time of these charges due to other things that they had going on, so not in relation to Michael's case. But we don't know what evidence they now have that has led them to be able to charge them. It's like very, very new news. So I'm assuming in the next few weeks or months, as this legal process goes on, we will learn more. But a very sad update. We did know that they were persons of interest, I believe, when we did the episode, or we did an update anyway about it. But very sad.
Yeah, their names have been around for a long time, so it seems like they've always been onto them, but just needed evidence, I guess. I do remember like people treating the mom like shit and like really dragging her through the mud too. Yeah. So I hope that she and the father are vindicated in some sense now.
I guess too, like, often we always say it's usually the father or the mother, like, even in the Summer Wells case, for example, we've spoken about how the parents are shady. There's obviously a lot of shady parents out there, but I guess this is a good reminder that sometimes it's not always the parents. There may be just a random stranger who is a horrible person that takes advantage of a child out there by himself.
Yeah, and just, like, crazy when you think of that, just, like, the timing, like, what are the chances that he, like, got out at the
Yeah,
same time this guy was out there
yeah,
lurking?
wanting to, abduct a child.
Yeah. Before we get into the rest of the episode, we have a quick word from our sponsor, Mood. You guys know, I think I even mentioned it this episode already. I hate leaving the house. I want to get everything delivered. I get my groceries delivered. Anything I can get delivered, it's getting delivered. And you know that there's an online cannabis company that ships federally legal THC right to your door as well. And they found a way to combine THC with carefully selected functional ingredients to target nearly every mood and health concern you could think of. I'm talking about mood.com's incredible line, functional gummies, and you can get 20% off your first order at mood.com with promo code TCS. Forget one size fits all supplements that only get you high. Mood's functional gummies are optimized to kick in as little as 15 minutes and take you to the mood that you're looking for.
Whether that's their Mind Magic Gummies for deep work and creativity, PMS support to ease cramps and balance mood swings, or their Sexual Euphoria Gummies to help you feel ready for action and turn every touch into a full body experience. Listen, you can find gummies to just get you high pretty much anywhere these days, but Mood's functional gummies combine premium federally legal THC with targeted botanicals to help you get into the perfect mood, usually in as little as 15 minutes. And everything ships discreetly right to your door. Everything ships discreetly right to your door. No dispensary lines, no awkward conversations, just better days and nights delivered to your doorstep. Best of all, not only is every Mood product backed by a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as we mentioned, listeners get 20% off their first order with code TCS. So head to mood.com, find your functional gummy that matches exactly what you're looking for, and let Mood help you discover your perfect mood. And don't forget to use promo code TCS when you check out to save 20% on your first order.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a recent case, the murder of Philadelphia woman Kada Scott, who's 23 years old, and she was allegedly murdered by a man named Keon King, who was 21. We have been posting a lot about her on our Instagram. If you remember, she is a very beautiful Black girl. She was like Miss Philadelphia, pictures of her with like the sash. Sadly, her life was cut short by some dirtbag.
Yep.
Well, they did find her body. It was certainly the very, very sad news that nobody had hoped would be the outcome, that of 23-year-old Kada Scott.
Greg is back on this story again this morning. Greg?
Yeah, I mean, as you said it, Karen, I mean, this is a result that nobody wanted in regards to this missing persons case. And unfortunately, the remains that law enforcement found behind Ada Lewis Middle School over the weekend, it has been confirmed that that is the remains of 23-year-old Kada Scott. Now, police say they found 23-year-old Kada Scott's body after receiving an anonymous tip that led investigators back to the former Ada Lewis Middle School Saturday morning, an area previously searched by police. That tipster, according to sources, asked police to please go back, saying they missed her, and gave a specific location in a wooded area behind the vacant school. When officers went back, they eventually found a body in a shallow grave. Kada's debit card and phone case were found in a different area by the school. In the previous search, Kada went missing the night of October 4th after arriving for her overnight shift at a senior living facility in Chestnut Hill. More than a week later, police arrested and charged 21-year-old Keon King in connection with Scott's kidnapping and for a previous kidnapping of a woman earlier this year that was originally dismissed when a key witness failed to show up to court. Investigators believe King was the last person to see her the night she disappeared. As mentioned, police say they found the body after searching the area a second time, which has led to quite a bit of frustration amongst community members.
We were back here, and our dogs were back here. Officers were back here. There is a lot of wooded area.
Why did they lie to us and say that they searched this school thoroughly with special trained dogs and drones? Why didn't the dogs pick up this scent? The body wasn't that deep.
So Kada lived with family in Philadelphia at the time of her death. Her mother is Kim Matthews and her father is Kevin Scott. She was a graduate of Penn State University. This is an excerpt from her LinkedIn profile. It says, "Hello, I'm a senior at Penn State majoring in communications, liberal arts, and sciences. I'm looking for an internship position in media, industry, software companies, and marketing to develop my knowledge and skills. I'd like to expand my entrepreneurship and leadership skills. Establishing and operating my own business will be applied or contribute to the internship with the skills." According to her profile, Kada graduated in 2023 with a bachelor's degree in communications, liberal arts, and sciences, and she also enjoyed fashion, art, and modeling. She apparently started her own spa business as well. Kada also participated in beauty pageants, like I mentioned earlier in 2025. She was in the running to become the next Miss Pennsylvania, USA, and she was hoping to represent her state at the next Miss USA pageant. In October 2025, Kada was working at an assisted living facility called The Terrace in the Chestnut Hill area of Philadelphia. This is a little bit about the area. It's featuring leafy streets lined with stately historic mansions and Victorian townhouses. Affluent Chestnut Hill is known as the city's Garden District. Home to the Morris Arboretum and its canopy walkway, the neighborhood also draws literature fans and aspiring wizards to the Harry Potter Festival every October. Picturesque Germantown Avenue is lined with antiques, shops, art galleries, tea rooms, and a farmer's market. So seems like a nice area. Kind of sounds like I want to visit it, but
yeah, it sounds very like historic and cute and like a nice place to wander
trendy.
around. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is some information about the assisted living facility that she worked at. It says, nestled just a short drive from downtown Philadelphia near Germantown amidst luscious, they throw in so many fucking words.
What kind of, I feel like luscious is not a word to describe a building, but anyway.
A building? Yeah. Amidst luscious turn-of-the-century buildings is the Terrace at Chestnut Hill. Built from a charming 19th century stone mansion, our upscale senior living community in Philadelphia offers a compassionate environment of personal care, memory care, and enriching lifestyles for your loved ones. Whether inside spacious personal care suites or in one of our beautiful walking gardens, residents are surrounded by people first care in a vibrant senior living community. So that sounds nice, but I mean, they all sound nice usually. But
yeah, I feel like no one's ever gonna put the bad stuff on a website.
I feel like it's a dump.
Yeah,
but who knows? It could have been a nice place. I'm just always side-eyeing.
Yeah.
So Kada had only been employed at the Terrace for about 2 weeks prior to Saturday, October 4th, 2025. During this time, Kada told her family that she'd been receiving disturbing phone calls and was being harassed. Her father, Keon Scott, told the media that Kada had been assigned to the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. overnight shift that day. She drove her mother's vehicle to the facility, and she was last seen by her father around 9:45 p.m. that night. Around 10 p.m., Kada was seen by a colleague outside of the Terrace. She was seen walking towards a dark-colored SUV that was parked outside. The coworker reportedly heard her saying on the phone, "I can't believe you're calling me about this shit." And then she got into the vehicle and left. Which it was interesting to me because doesn't her shift start at 10? So she just left?
Yeah, maybe. She'd only been there for 2 weeks. I did have questions about that too. So she had only been there for 2 weeks. Maybe she really wasn't enjoying it. But then I wonder what that comment was about. I can't believe you're calling me about this shit. Maybe she just intended to be late. I don't know. But yeah, it seems like a weird
was running out quickly
to get into. And yeah, maybe she thought, I'll just be 10 minutes late. I've got to go and do whatever. But yeah, it is weird to leave at the start of your shift.
Yeah. So Kada did not return home the next morning after her shift. Her parents called the facility, and they said they received conflicting reports about where Kada was, which is also interesting. Did she clock in and then leave? Was she there and then she left? Because you'd think if they never saw her, they'd just be like, no, we didn't see her.
Yeah.
Clearly one coworker saw her. They drove to the facility and met police there later that day, and they discovered that her mother's car was still in the parking lot. Her father said she had an iPad, iPhone, and Apple Watch in her bag, but they were not inside the vehicle. Whatever happened, she took her belongings with her. Police obtained cell phone records and found that Kada had received 12 calls from the same number between 9:25 and 10:12 on the night of October 4th. She also took a 43-second call from that number, so maybe that's the one that the coworker heard. The Philadelphia Police Deputy Commissioner said, "Our evidence is pretty clear that she was in communication with an individual, and that individual appears to meet her very shortly after she leaves her place of work, and very shortly after that, she disappears." At 10:24 p.m., Kada's cell phone stopped all network contact, so seems like this happened within 20 minutes.
Like very quickly. If she left, even if she left a few minutes after 10, it was literally like a 20-minute window, essentially.
Yeah. So the FBI quickly joined the search for Kada. The deputy commissioner said it's a troubling missing person report. We don't know if foul play was involved, but we certainly see some signs that this person wasn't missing voluntarily. Kada's aunt Bree White and her cousin also searched for her. Her aunt said, "We've been out here since yesterday in the rain. To me, at this point, it's just getting out here and looking for her." Her father said, "Canvass the neighborhoods, any leads we can possibly get, so we can forward to police in hopes of getting my daughter back home. You never know what little, small, minuscule information may apply to the big picture, the puzzle that might get Kada home."
Up until this point too, there was like some discussion online, especially about if this was a true abduction. Like if you remember the Carly Russell case, and I'm pretty sure we covered, which she faked her own abduction, and so like this all seemed maybe a little bit set up. Like she told her family that she was being harassed. She went to work. She didn't go into work. So there was a lot of discussion about, is this really a true abduction? Is this something that she set up for herself for whatever reason? Like that was.
It seems like she's talking to the person.
Yeah. So like she obviously went with someone willingly enough to get in the car with them. Like they didn't drag her into the car, for example. So it was like there was a lot of discussion of that type online at the time.
Mm-hmm. On October 14th, Keon King turned himself into police. He had a troubling past. He had been charged twice prior to October 2025 with felony counts for attacking an ex-girlfriend. Both times the charges were withdrawn, and this occurred after witnesses and the victim didn't show up for preliminary hearings, which is something we'll circle back to because it's like a big
part of the case,
controversy as to what happens, and a lot of people have some stuff to say about that. There is a very creepy video from one of these incidents. We'll put it in the blog, and I think we shared it on our stories, so you might have seen it if you follow us on Instagram. It's just very scary. He like jumps into this backyard, and
like there's a big wooden fence, so it's not like he just easily obtained entry. He's obviously jumped or scaled this fence, and the people are in the house filming him as he's doing this. And he does this weird.
He's like going up to the window,
but he does this weird thing with his hands first too. It's like this weird pose. Like I'm like, what? It's
very menacing.
It is. It's like a horror movie. It's something that you'd see in a horror movie. And so they're filming him as he goes from window to window, and then he sees it.
He's not trying to hide himself at all.
No. And I feel like if I remember rightly, he goes to an open window and they're like frantically trying to shut the window so he can't get into the house. But very, very creepy, menacing. Like there's no doubt he shouldn't be there. It's not like he was invited in and they're just like, oh yeah. They were clearly terrified and trying to video this as proof.
Yeah, it definitely like gave me the chills. Scary video. Philadelphia Police Deputy Commissioner said that the evidence showed it was pretty clear that Keon had been communicating with Kada. With Keon now identified as the main suspect in the case, police were able to investigate his movements prior to her disappearance.
We are going to jump back a little bit in the story now because what we've told up to date is chronologically on what we knew at the time. But after Keon was arrested, we did find out more about how the police investigated the case and why he ended up turning himself in. He was obviously a person of interest for them very early on, but we didn't know that at the point. So now we will go back into what the police discovered in the days before Kada's disappearance and after she
before he turned himself in.
Yeah.
So on October 3rd, 2025, the day before Kada disappeared, a 2008 black Hyundai Accent was stolen from the 600 block of Sprague Street in Philadelphia around 11:30 p.m. The vehicle had been left unattended by a food delivery driver. Police have said they believe Keon stole that vehicle, and when they examined Keon's phone records, they found texts between him and Kada as well. So earlier in the day on October 4th, Kada texted Keon and said, "Kidnap me again," to which she replied, "Better be up too." Their final exchange came at 10:09 p.m. where she texted, "CM when you hear," which I think is "call me when you're here."
Yeah. So that would have been, I'm assuming this is probably around the time that the coworker saw her, like it might have been just after 10 p.m. I don't really know. I don't even really understand the context of these texts, like "kidnap me again." Like, is this like
I took it as like he did something to her before and she's like, "Kidnap me again."
Yeah,
like, see what happens, kind of.
Oh, we see. I was thinking maybe even and to be like, just to clarify, we don't really know the relationship between Kada and Keon. Like, had they been dating? We don't really know. So maybe I thought maybe it was kind of like a joking thing, like "kidnap me again," and when he's like, "You better be up too," like,
or
something along those lines. I don't know.
Yeah, now that I was thinking about like how she's leaving work. Maybe she like didn't want to be at work and she was like
Yeah.
joking, like kidnap me at work.
That's really the only context that I could think would make sense in this case. Like, you know, surely she's not going to go with someone who is actually literally, you know, abusive. Maybe I don't know. We don't know the context. We're just speculating. But that is what I would suspect it means. Like, you know, you're going to kidnap me again, and he's like, well, you better be up for it, and that kind of thing. But I don't understand then why the coworker would have heard her say, I'm paraphrasing.
I can't believe you're calling me about this shit.
Yeah, like what was this about? I don't know. We don't know any of these questions. This is all we know, so it's just speculation.
Yeah. So we don't know what was actually like going on.
Yeah.
But they were talking.
Yeah.
Cell phone data would show both Keon and Kada were near the terrace at 10:15 on October 4th. And at 10:28 p.m., a dark-colored vehicle was seen pulling into the Aubrey Recreation parking lot across the street from the abandoned Ada Lewis Middle School. On October 5th, Keon's cell phone was tracked on multiple trips around his home on Belmar Terrace in the area around the middle school. At 11:39 p.m., a vehicle similar to Keon's 1999 gold Toyota Camry was seen pulling into the parking lot near where the dark-colored vehicle had been seen the night before. So the dark-colored vehicle is probably that stolen vehicle.
Yeah. I have questions. If he had a vehicle, why is he stealing another vehicle?
He just seems like a menace.
He's a sketchy guy. But like, maybe he was always planning this? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
On October 6th at 4 a.m., the gold vehicle was seen moving closer to where the dark-colored vehicle was parked. CCTV shows two people going to the dark vehicle and removing a heavy object consistent with a human body from the passenger side of the vehicle. The people were seen carrying the object towards the playground of the abandoned school.
So on October 7th at 2:48 a.m., one person was seen getting into the dark-coloured vehicle and driving off. Police received a tip that day about a burned Hyundai Accent. When investigators arrived, though, to inspect the vehicle, it had already been towed, compacted, and was at a junkyard. So they weren't able, I guess, to essentially search it properly at that stage. Yeah. On October 9, police searched a property thought to be Keon's home, is what I've deduced from all the media articles. They haven't actually said, they just say a property in this area, but I'm pretty sure it was his home. Investigators found 3 phones, 1 tablet, contractor bags, latex gloves, a hammer, and 9mm ammunition. At 3 p.m. on October 10th, Keon's gold Camry arrived in the parking lot at Gypsy Lane Condos. So I had a look at the condos just to see the kind of setup. It's like a 3-story building, so not a super high-rise complex, but there's just parking all around it. So it's like somewhere where you could probably pull up and not be too noticed. Like, it doesn't look like there's a sign spots and things like that. It's probably just kind of a low-key area, I guess, to do this.
Mm-hmm.
A man fitting Keon's description was seen repeatedly exiting the vehicle and accessing the trunk before leaving the car at the scene. So that day, police searched the grounds of Aubrey Arboretum for Kada. Officials said nothing was found in relation to the search at that time. Police announced on October 15th that Keon had been arrested. Obviously, he turned himself in the day before. They announced it the following day. He was charged with kidnapping and related offences, and he was ordered to be held on $2.5 million bail. Authorities asked for help in locating Keon's Toyota Camry. A tip was called in indicating that it was parked at the Gypsy Lane condos. So there are some media footage, and it looks like maybe a drone, or I know it actually says chopper on the screen. I was going to say something in the air, but it's basically the car just parked solely in the parking lot. There's no other cars around it. It's just been left there.
Looking sketchy.
Yeah. Police searched the Arboretum again that day. They used drones, canines, and crime scene teams to search the abandoned middle school. And just to interject too, the abandoned middle school is such a creepy looking place. Like I've seen a lot of comments like this is like a horror movie. It's like dilapidated, abandoned, overgrown. It was just scary. While they searched the middle school and that area, police found Kada's card, an iPad case, glasses, and a phone case. On October 17th, the Philadelphia DA Larry Krasner addressed the previously dropped charges against Keon in relation to the prior kidnapping incidents that we mentioned earlier. We learned that Keon allegedly kidnapped a woman from in front of her house, threw her in her car, assaulted her, and then eventually let her out. The DA said, "We could have really done better in that. A really sophisticated approach to the case would have been to try to pull it all in with video evidence," which I agree, they could have done a lot better. It's, obviously if they had have investigated that more thoroughly, Keon wouldn't have been out to do this and to allegedly do what he did to Kada. So
it's also just like saying like, oh, hindsight's 2020. It seems like very flippant considering what's happened in the context of women being violently attacked by this man being like, oh, we could have done a better job. Whoops.
Yeah. So the charges were dropped because the witness didn't show up to the court on time. The DA spoke about that, and they said the reason
is that they're blaming the witness.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they're blaming
disgusting.
like the victim essentially.
So this is a quote from the DA. He said the reason they had to worry, as in the witness, he was going to come out of the same door they went in the courthouse right after they testified against him is because he was on bail. So at that time, Keon had been able to post 10% of the $200,000 bail that he'd received in the first kidnapping arrest. When the DA was asked why a higher bail had not been set, and this also blows my mind, he replied that it was a strategic decision to not bother judges overnight. The DA said you have the option of trying to do what is often a midnight or 3 o'clock in the morning telephonic appeal to a municipal court judge. The unfortunate reality of this is that some, but not all of the judges don't want you calling them in the middle of the night. And if you do, they lower the bail. They don't raise it, they don't leave it, they lower it. So it's always a complex strategic decision. So he's basically insinuating that if they had have called the judge, the bail would have been even lower because the judge would have been pissed off that he was being bothered in the middle of the night. He or she was being bothered in the middle of the night.
Honestly, I believe that it's happened because it's so crazy that like, how would even make that up?
Yeah. So Marty O'Rourke, who's a spokesperson for the courts, said in response to all of this, with all due respect, the DA and his staff know there are assigned municipal and common pleas court judges on call 24/7 and prepared at any hour to address emergency court matters. In light of this truth, the DA's comments are appallingly disrespectful and a sad attempt on his part to find a scapegoat for his own failings in this matter. So again, a lot of back and forth, a lot of blaming. Who even knows? Even if he had been held on bail, he may have still got off. We don't know. I guess it just would have been helpful for him to have been incarcerated.
Yeah.
According to the website crimetimelines.com, in March 2025, Keon also fled from a traffic stop after he'd been pulled over by police. He was charged with reckless driving and fleeing police. He also apparently ran from police in a separate incident in June 2025. And on October 2nd, 2025, so just a few days before all of this happened, he was charged for driving without a license. So he had a lot going on. Again, like you said, just a menace. Like up until that point, it was kind of, I guess, more petty crimes. Like the kidnapping thing is horrible, don't get me wrong, but, fleeing from a traffic stop and all that they are a little bit more.
Yeah, it seems like it escalated as time went on.
Police said that Keon's record and behaviour showed a concerning pattern and asked any additional victims to come forward. The Philadelphia Police First Deputy Commissioner said anyone that may have been involved with this individual or anyone that may know this individual, please at this point in time make that phone call. If you have been a victim of any crime regarding him, we want you to understand that now is the time to make that phone call and let us know. So I have no doubt he probably does have other victims. They've probably been scared to come forward because they basically don't want anything to do with him. He seems like a very menacing individual. Just if he has left you alone and moved on to something else, you may want to just leave the whole situation, but they are asking for anyone else to come forward.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know if I'd want to come forward with the way that they're handling things.
And I really do recommend that you watch the video because it's terrifying. Like if someone was doing that to me and then they finally just went away and left me alone, I'd be like, okay, I'm not poking the bear.
I'm not getting involved in this again.
Yeah. On October 18, police received a, quote, very specific anonymous tip regarding the whereabouts of Kada's remains. Officers went back to a wooded area near the abandoned middle school at around 10 a.m. and there they found human female remains in a shallow grave. The first deputy commissioner made a statement regarding Kada's family being informed of the discovery. He said, we have been in communication with her family as to this process and in the fact that we have recovered a human being. So the following day, October 19, the remains were confirmed to belong to Kada through DNA testing. The DA's office then charged Keon with new offences on October 20, including arson, causing catastrophe, conspiracy, and tampering with evidence. On October 22nd, the Philadelphia medical examiner confirmed that Kada's death was ruled a homicide. Her cause of death was confirmed to have been a gunshot to the head. Her date of death was listed as October 18th, which is the date that her body was found. But police have said they believe that she was murdered very shortly after she disappeared on October 4th. So as we mentioned, her phone cut off at like before 10:30 that night. So I assume she was probably murdered in that first 20-minute period.
Yeah, which is crazy.
After that announcement, Keon was charged with murder and abuse of a corpse. So police have been investigating if Keon worked with an accomplice, as a second person was allegedly seen with him moving the body from the vehicle. According to CBS, a tipster gave specific information about the location of Kada's body. This is a quote from their article. It says, prosecutors said the identity of the tipster is not known, but their involvement is under investigation. So as of the day of recording, we are recording on November 2nd. Media reports have different dates for Keon's next court appearance. Some say November 3rd, some say November 10. I can't find any clarity. We haven't been able to find court records or anything like that. If he is in court and there is an update, we'll pop a clip in here, but the update may not happen if he is in court on November 10th until after this episode comes out. So we will keep you posted on anything further that happens. This is obviously going to be an ongoing case. He will probably go to trial, or we will learn more about the circumstances surrounding Kada's death, what happened as time goes on. It's a very, very recent case and been a very recent arrest.
Yeah, I still have so many questions, just like, what was their relationship?
Yep.
Why was she going out to meet him in the first place? Just like, what was going on?
Yeah, I do wonder if he's like, just come with me for 10 minutes and, you know, whatever. Like maybe they had been dating, I don't know. And she just thought like, I'll be a little bit late to work. And then, but then why would he shoot her in the head?
It seems like they were like fighting. Or...
Yeah. We don't really know. Like obviously the texts that have been released, that's all we know. So we can only speculate at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So after Kada was recovered, her family issued this statement. They said, today we'll say her name, tomorrow we'll say her name, and forever we will say her name. As with profound sadness that we share the tragic passing of our beloved daughter, Kada Scott, we kindly ask for space and privacy at this time as we process the heartbreaking events over the past few weeks. Our hearts are shattered, yet we are deeply grateful for the outpouring of love, support, and prayers from people across the nation. And around the world. Please continue to keep us in prayer as we navigate this unimaginable loss. Our hearts are broken beyond measure. We are profoundly thankful to every person who shared Kada's story, joined the search efforts, prayed with us, and stood by our family during this devastating time. Your compassion, love, strength have carried us when we cannot carry ourselves. Kada was deeply, deeply loved. Her light, kindness, and beautiful spirit will forever remain in our hearts. And then they go on to thank the Philadelphia PD and basically everyone who helped in the search. They said, although the outcome is one no parent should ever have to face, we remain thankful for the unity, leadership, and love that surrounded us all. They go on to say, we place our full trust in the Philadelphia PD and the Philadelphia DA's office to ensure the truth is revealed and that those responsible are held accountable to the full extent of the law. So a very gracious statement. I think the police did work this case fairly quickly. Like, you know, it was a matter of, I know it took them around 2 weeks to recover her body, but they seemed to identify Keon as a suspect fairly quickly in the case.
Like he didn't really try to hide his identity though, if that was just like his phone number.
Yeah. So obviously we don't have any of the answers. We'll have to update you once we know more about their relationship, how she came to know him, what she was maybe thought she was doing that night. We will have to keep you updated. It's just a very sad case. And I do wonder.
It's just sad because it seems like he shouldn't have been on the streets at this point, to begin with at this point. Like he proved himself to be a dangerous criminal. And he was still just out there, and this probably shouldn't have had to happen. He should have just still been in jail because they had the video. I was reading on Reddit that even though the witnesses didn't come forward with the case, probably because they were scared, other people were saying, and I guess one of the prosecutors now said that the video itself should have been enough without the witnesses' testimony.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree that in some cases it's better for the witnesses not to be in court for their mental health. You know, imagine how terrifying it would be to face someone like him. And if you watch the video, it would be terrifying. I agree.
Yeah,
the video should have been enough.
I went through something that I've mentioned where I had a restraining order against a girl. It was more like a kind of just like a bullying harassment situation where the police ended up getting involved, and the DA was calling me, and I didn't call back because I didn't want to like get involved and like get this girl even more mad at me and be like, oh, like you're getting like turning this into like this whole big thing, because I was kind of like scared of what the repercussions would be of me calling the DA and working with the DA's office to get her in even more trouble, which in hindsight, wish I did, but still I can totally get it because that was a much smaller scale. Like I wasn't afraid for my life like these witnesses probably were.
And I know too that in the video that we keep talking about, there was a child in the house. Like I don't think it was Keon's child, but obviously you have to protect your family. You want to have the less involvement with someone like Keon as you possibly can.
Yeah.
I do like my thought on the probable scenario is maybe they had been dating or, you know, seeing each other maybe. She got in the car and he tried something and she's like, no. And then he just escalated and shot her in the head, because that is a rageful thing to do. Like and in a very short period of time, I feel like there must have been some catalyst where he just snapped. As you said, he'd been escalating his behaviors up until this time. I do wonder though why he stole the car, if he was just being a general jerk or if he did plan this in some way.
I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw it running and was like, I could steal that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One thing I did find interesting in this case is around the same time there was another woman who went missing. It was not the same circumstances at all, but the other woman was white and blonde. She was a dentist, or she is a dentist because she's still alive. Her name is dentist Melanie Nadler-Litt. So she went missing from her home. Her phone was found there. Her car was found abandoned. So again, another missing persons case. We were posting about both Kada and Melanie at the same time. And in the past, we've spoken about missing white woman syndrome, which is an actual phenomenon where essentially the media and the public care more about pretty white women. Like Gabby Petito is one, for example, that got a lot of discussion. Same with the Moscow girls. Yeah, like it's always, you know, why do some people get more attention than others? And I really, really, really noticed it in this case. I took some screenshots from our posts about the women. I made a post for Kada. She got 132 likes, 14 comments, and 38 shares, whereas our post for Melanie got 385 likes, so, you know, reactions, 258 comments, and 140 shares. So like quadrupled.
Massive difference.
And even like on Instagram, you can see more about views and things like that. Our post for Melanie got 43,000 views and 500 interactions, whereas our post for Kada got 26,000. So let's just say around half, and 182, under half the interactions. So I feel like it's absolutely a thing, and I just don't understand it, because this case is so scary, so tragic. And in Melanie's case,
ended up being fine.
Yeah, and in Melanie's case, she ran away with a guy probably that she was having an affair with. So, like, there was actually not much mystery about it. I guess people just thought it was a little bit more salacious and juicy because she ran away and had an affair with this guy. But, yeah, I just found that was very sad, because Kada's family were trying so hard to find her. She was a missing person for, you know, at least 12 days, or I think she was found on the 18th, so over 2 weeks. Around 2 weeks. So, you know, they were trying hard to find her. And then there's these other cases that are just getting so much more attention, despite how hard everyone tries to help in situations like Kada's.
Like another just like shitty thing, but they always say it's like, oh, the pretty like white girls. Whereas like Kada was beautiful. So It really is just like race related, and it's horrible, because I thought Kada was so stunning and that shouldn't matter, but it sadly does seem like the more beautiful girls like catch more people's eyes of being like, oh no, like what could happen to this beautiful girl who probably had like everything, because people just like assume. You see like someone who's very attractive and you just kind of like make up this own narrative in your mind, I think is what people do. And I'm just like, oh no, like what could have happened to this beautiful girl who probably had her life together?
And even I know we mentioned Carly Russell earlier, like that dentist case is quite similar. Like she obviously staged her abduction. She abandoned her car. She left her phone at home so she couldn't be tracked. So similarities to Carly Russell. And it's people who do things like this. Like, you know what? I know you're an adult and you have the right to leave your life if you want. You have a right to go missing. This Melanie woman had a husband. I don't know what their relationship is, if they're estranged or whatever, but she's still married to this man. So she has the right to do whatever she wants, but just tell someone where you're going. So I don't want to be with you anymore.
Grow the fuck up and don't
leave your phone, stage your car being left abandoned in some parking lot. Like, so, you know, even Madison Bell, like all those, like there's been a million cases like that where these women or females do it, and it takes like, you know, I feel like it really did delay things in Kada's case because people were like, is this really truly an abduction? Has she just taken off? You know, but in the end, it was absolutely not what happened.
Yeah. Very sad. And it was just like so blatant in that case for us because we were posting about both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. At the exact same time, like, you know, on grid posts and things like that. And I was just like, I just can't believe the disparity in, you know, I'm not saying, like, I think people do care less. I you know, people, I know some people will be like, I care. And I understand we care as well. But I feel like just as a general whole, people do pay less attention to cases like Kada's.
Yeah, it's sad, but I think it's just stereotyping of them being like, oh, it's probably, you know, they're quote unquote like ghetto, like it's probably gang related. So then people just think it's almost like they feel like it's more deserving to happen to them when it's totally couldn't be more wrong.
And absolutely couldn't happen
in Kada's
to
case.
an you know, middle class dentist, you know, like something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad to see it just so blatantly.
And I feel like sometimes people try and deny that it actually exists, but I guess you can't argue with those figures on the exact same platforms. You know, it just is basically showed that
we probably posted about Kada more too.
Yeah, I feel like we did because there was more articles and her case went for a longer period of time too. Like the Melanie Nadler thing was over in like a week max. So it just shows you that essentially Kada got half of the attention, her case, than Melanie's did.
Of a woman who was too scared to tell her husband about an affair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sad. But yeah, that's really it with Kada's case overall for now. Hopefully we'll get some more information about what happened that night to her and what went down between them, just because I'm curious to know. But I'm glad that they did catch Keon. It seemed like it wasn't very difficult.
No.
I'm glad that he's off the streets, and hopefully he stays off the streets now this time.
Surely he can't get out after this, you would think.
Yeah, they messed up and they know it, so.
Yeah.
But everything will be on the blog, as always, at truecrimesocietyblog.com. If you want to see the video, we'll post it again when this episode comes out, but it'll be on the blog also. I mean, I could try to put in a clip. Maybe I'll try to, but I don't know like how great the audio really is or if it's even worth it. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. We're always posting updates and different cases there. True Crime Society. If you want to see what we're up to, my Instagram is StephSum_. Olivia's TCS Olivia. You could check us out on there. And make sure you check us out on Patreon as well. We do weekly bonus episodes. We do all the episodes ad-free, so you get 2 episodes a week without ads. Plus, Patreon's just its own community. We have chats on there. We kind of share more about our own lives on there. We're in the mix more, talking to people. And it's really only like $1 a week. So we would appreciate any support over there if you enjoy us. And all the usual stuff. If you could just share the podcast to your Instagram stories to help us grow our audience. We also just love seeing what you guys are all up to, what hobbies you have, what your pets are up to. Show us what you're doing when you're listening to the podcast on Instagram and we'll reshare it. Leave us nice comments on Spotify. Olivia goes through all those because I'm too afraid. So.
It's so funny because, well, not funny, but in the last episode, which was released, was about Alpana Jinaga, the Halloween murder that we did. And I feel like the majority of comments were from people when we talked about sad kids movies.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, yeah, everyone was like, yep, Land Before Time. Someone else said Watership Down was another one that they said was horrible. So it was just, I feel like people enjoy having a little chat sometimes after the episodes. And sometimes it is about the case and sometimes it's about our chat as well. So
yeah, I have to get back in the mix. I've been scarred from being bullied so much online. But I will. Okay, I'll be brave for everyone. So don't say anything mean. But yeah, that's it. All the usual stuff. Thank you guys for listening. Stay safe out there. Peace out.
See ya.